We either call that one or this one. Call this meeting to order. Mary, roll please.
Arthur. Here. Myers. Howard.
Here.
Redland.
Here.
Who am I forgetting?
Showalter. The mayor. Please stand and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us in person and online. And we'll get started. Anybody for public comment?
Yes.
Please come up and introduce yourself to everybody so
Thank you, Hannah.
everybody knows.
Good afternoon. Thank you for letting me speak with you this evening. My name is Dean Graber. Live at 802 Colorado here at the west edge of town. Mike, I just got several questions about the proposed, eventually maybe the improvements on that are, I've heard about being done on 8th Street, whether there's going to be anything done on or not. And I want to preface my questions on what I heard down in Wichita this last week on the 15th of July. I'm not sure exactly where the Delrose neighborhood in Wichita is, but it's someplace in South Wichita. The residents down in there got a letter from the city of Wichita saying that their sidewalks needed to be repaired, replaced, or leveled. And, they had 30 days to do it. Otherwise, the city would do it, or, they'd have to get it, city would do it and at the homeowners or at the homeowners' cost. And that caught a lot of the residents kind of by surprise down there because they didn't realize that the sidewalk was their responsibility, especially since it was set back from the curb. The city had planted trees between the curb and the sidewalk, which caused the sidewalk to be ruined. And, I haven't really heard officially what is going to be done on 8th Street. I know there's plans on doing something, taking the crown out, moving it down and possibly putting sidewalks along the street. whether that's going to be on both sides of the street or one side of the street. And it's my understanding that it's going to be done within the existing confines of the curb as they are right now. So basically, the street would be narrowed down, the sidewalk would be incorporated into the existing street right away right now, which in that case, according to state law, if the sidewalk abuts your property, it is the homeowner's responsibility. Well, if it's from the curb on out, that's a long ways from the property lines as far as what they're set, as far as anything on the easements, whatever it is for the street and the curb and everything else. It's a long ways from the property line. And my concern is whose responsibility are those sidewalks going to be? Is it going to be the homeowners, or is it going to be the cities? There's no law that says you have to have a sidewalk. And so if you come and put a sidewalk in there and charge me for it, I might not be too happy about that, especially if I have to be responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of it for whoever knows how many years I'll be there. Right now, I checked, there's on from DeLeo Drive to Cherry Avenue. I think that's probably, my understanding is where the reconstruction repairs are going to be. There's 34 properties on the south side of the street, give or take. I'm not sure. There's some vacant lots, and I'm not sure as far as ownership on them. And on the north side, there's 27. But included in that are the school, has a lot there. There's the GAC, courthouse, library, and Gulick Park. So those are city or taxpayer-funded entities to begin with. And Wheat Ridge Acres has a big frontage there. And I'm not speaking for any other landowners or property owners. Neighbor Jay Morrow came with me tonight for moral support. I don't have, we talked about this. We're really not sure what it is, but as the planning of this project goes along, I'd like to have some answers to some of these questions on if the sidewalk is, who's going to be responsible for paying for it, who's going to be responsible for maintaining it, and in the future. And also, if it's going to be on both sides of the street, one side of the street. When I did my build on my garage in 1989, I found out that there's more easement on 8th Street on the north side of the street than there is on the south. So, as far as how much, as far as the closer you encroach on my side would be closer to the property than it would be on the north side. So I'm just, just curious, as the planning of this whole project goes, I'd like to have, at least be aware of some of the concerns that I have.
Right, yeah, I can understand that, and we'll have to take that in and see where that's at and discuss that ourselves of who would be responsible for that, and just to let everybody know.
Yeah, because if the sidewalk abuts my property, then it's my responsibility. But my easement, my property technically doesn't start until quite a ways back from the street. And if they're putting the sidewalk in the existing street line now, that would definitely be not abutting anybody's property. And so that's what I was wondering, as far as, if they're going to be how, tax-wise, how, what grants, what we're going to get on it, whether there's going to be a special assessment for curb and guttering along the street for each individual homeowner. If they get individual assessments for sidewalks, they aren't required, then, that's where I would really, really want to have some information.
Yeah, and I don't know about that, but we'll take that all under advisement, and we'll look in that, and we'll put that out there and let you know.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
I guess I could answer one part of that.
Okay.
I know it's not taking action or anything, but the preliminary plans for A Street have been done, but not the final construction plans. We have a preliminary estimate to do the entire project, and it's going to be funded by the sales tax that was passed a couple of years ago
Okay.
by the vote. So the initial construction of And there is plans for sidewalk along A Street. But it will be part of the project. There won't be an assessment
Okay,
to the property owners for the initial construction.
okay. Like I say, on both sides of the street, or, you know, as far as,
Yeah, it's trying to be on both sides of the street. I forget where we ended up as far as the entire length or
Yeah, I
not.
can't remember.
I think we put that in to have it on one side and an addition of the other side as an extra. on that.
Right, as a,
Supplemental.
depending on the bid and
okay,
how much it actually costs.
okay, but,
So that part, but that's the preliminary plans. When the final plans come, they'll be certainly included in a meeting here and will be available here at City Hall.
what, like I say, what really triggered my concern about this was reading in the news reports of that incident down in Wichita, you know, I mean, all of a sudden here they get hit with notice that they have to, you know, I mean, you know, saying it could be $1 to $2, several $1,000s each, depending on what it is, to have to fix their sidewalks in front of their properties, and something that they were not expected to, or not planning or thinking they had to do anyhow. So that's really what brought me to thinking about who's going to be responsible for it in the long run. So appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Good, thank you. Jay, do you have anything else to add?
No, that was my reasoning too, basically.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. Anybody else for anything? Okay. Move on to proclamations and presentations, which there is none. We'll go to the number 4, the consent agenda items. A, 7/7/2025 commission meeting minutes. B, 7/14/2025 special meeting minutes. And C, the appropriation ordinances 2025-14, 2025-14A, and 2025-P14. Is there any discussion on those items?
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda items A, B, and C.
Have a motion by Commissioner Redlin.
A second.
Have a motion, second by Commissioner Archer. Roll, please, Mary.
Yes.
Myers, Redlin,
Yes.
Showalter, Howard.
Yes.
This is really messing me up.
All right, we'll move on to ordinances and resolutions. A, ordinance 1800, adopting the 2025 standard traffic ordinances, 52nd edition. Leanne Taylor.
I didn't think I could get faster than last year, but we're gonna try it. I think you guys all had the changes in the draft, okay, it was in your packets, so quickly, section 40.3 and the STO is new this year. It just mirrors the KSA, is that if you're passing a stationary vehicle, displaying hazard or caution signals, you have to move over either into the other lane or as far over as possible to pass them and slow down. 114.5, unlawful operation of a utility vehicle. They just changed terms from all-terrain vehicle to worksite utility. Just a little cleanup. Section 2.0 or 201.1, fail to comply with traffic citations. The driver solutions, well, actually the legislature came back and decided that they were going to be sympathetic to drivers that don't take care of their tickets. So they have allowed, and there's a process now that if a court sends in a suspension for failure, either failure to appear or a failure to comply or to pay their citations, we suspend them. So the state has now allowed them to apply for a restricted license for a year to allow them to get that paid off and get their license reinstated. They've also put a 5-year sunset on it, so it's just some housekeeping things that the state has directed the driver solutions to how they operate. Doesn't have a lot to do with us, but a little bit. I mean, once that 5 years is gone, they sunset it, reinstate their license, there's no reason for us to keep it on the books and get rid of it. Changes to the UPOCs, trespassing on a critical infrastructure facility. It's pretty much the same as 2024, but more specific on the types of communication facilities and structures. Been here a long time, never had anybody charged with that. Now, doesn't mean it won't happen, but probably not. But that's all the changes that they had listed this year.
And these ordinances are within the city of Woodland,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yep, does not pertain to the county at all.
Perfect.
They would
Thank
be controlled by state statutes.
you. Okay.
Any other questions for Leanne? I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 1800.
Second.
Got a second by Commissioner Redlin. Roll, please, Mary.
Archer,
Yes.
Myers, Showalter, Redlin,
Yes.
Howard.
Yes. And then we'll move on to ordinance number 1801, adopting the 2025 Uniform Public Offense Code, 41st edition. And Leanne talked some about that too. With the one, where the heck was that at? It's in there somewhere.
Yeah, there was just one.
Just
item.
That was
one
the
item, yeah.
trespassing, correct? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 1801.
Got a motion by Commissioner Archer.
Second.
Got a second by Commissioner Redlin. Roll, please, Mary.
Showalter, Redlin,
Yes.
Myers, Archer,
Yes.
Howard.
Yes. All right. Moving right along to formal actions, the audit proposal, FY 2025 to FY 2027. Kent?
Basically, for the next 3 years, we've used Agler and Gaddard for a number of years. I think since the early 2010s. And we did at the last renewal, send it out as an invitation to get responses. We ended up with 5 responses. They were still the lowest cost proposal, and they work well with their staff. They already know quite a bit of information, and the audit goes fairly smoothly. So staff is recommending to go ahead and renew with Hegler and Gaddard for another 3 years, from 25 through 27. And they actually have a contract for slightly less. As far as the regular audit, there's a little bit more for the single audit, which is the, if you end up with so much grant funds in a single year, especially from federal sources, you have to have an additional audit included. So that's what's included in the proposed contract.
I think they do a good job and keep us well informed that we're doing everything right and keep us doing things the right way. I don't have a problem with them.
Well, these are the folks that did our single audit from a few meetings ago, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and the audit that for our entire books for the end of 2024.
Okay. They do them at the same time. It was the same, okay, I apologize.
That's all right.
I'll move that we approve the audit proposal for, yeah, it means it, Gavril and
Agler and Gaddard.
Agler and Gaddard
Yes.
for the next 3 years.
I'll second.
A second by Commissioner Ridlin. Mary, roll please.
Redlin,
Yes.
Myers, Archer,
Yes.
Showalter, Howard.
Yes. Moving on to the merchant mercantile proposal for the federal funding action plan. Kent?
This was a recommendation with, from Fort Hays Northwest Tech. They ended up using Merchant McIntyre Associates and ended up having quite a bit of assistance with their diesel technology building addition and also a couple other things that have been involved with the college. We've had a couple conversations with Brent Merchant with Merchant McIntyre and Associates. And they do work with communities our size or of similar size, both in Kansas and in other states. And one of the biggest reasons to start having conversations with them is because of the potential potential project to supply or get our electrical infrastructure over to the industrial park for the proposed bakery and grain mill project. That project is expected to cost between $6 and $7 million. Obviously, that would be end up having to be bonded by the community in order to get that accomplished. But if there was a way to get some funding, I'm not saying that it could be entirely funded by grant, but even some funding would be helpful. So it wouldn't have to take so much to do. And the scope and the size of the project, the electrical project is such, that's why it has a big price tag about it. But in the conversation with Brent Merchant, he provided some additional information, and he provided some in his proposal here. It's basically some initial objectives through 90 days. And this is a larger cost document for a grant writer, but they have quite a bit of connections with federal funding, and in fact has already set up a meeting, even without a contract yet, with Economic Development Administration, the EDA, to at least have a beginning conversation about what it would take, because an awful lot of these types of grants take more than filling out a few forms. It takes quite a bit of conversation with federal officials to get something accomplished. And there seems to be a real possibility, and there seems to be an initial encouragement that the city should try to pursue this from the officials that would be involved. So included in your packet is a 4-page proposal from Merchant McIntyre. And they are looking, and that's what I'm looking for right now. They give examples of what they've done both in economic development and surface transportation, water infrastructure, and public safety. But what they intend to do is basically as an extension of the city's professional staff, and their scope of work would develop a competitive application to the EDA, at least the beginning parts of that, and coordinate with city leadership to facilitate discussions with EDA, develop initial project abstracts, and draft project application materials, and then coordinate with staff for the additional documentation that would be required for the grant. Develop also, besides that, funding strategies about a couple other items that could work with the City of Goodland's responsibilities and requirements. And then the rest that you see there. They basically open Merchant McIntyre to assist local governments exactly like Goodland. Their typical retainer is $10,000 a month for a period of 1 year. But what they initially propose is for the first 90 days, for 3 months, and see where we're at. And see if they can produce the deliverables that they're talking about in the first 90 days, which is conduct a resource inventory, provide a comprehensive federal funding strategy for the city, arrange substantive meetings with congressional staff and executive branch program officers who have jurisdiction over the funding targets, and then support Goodland in all facets of the grant process. Once the 90 days is done and they provide a report on what's actually been accomplished at that time, then the city can make a decision whether we'll continue or not. So I know this is a little bit out of the box from what Goodland has been involved with before, but I think we have a particular project that kind of meets this criteria, that would be a good objective for a federal funding action plan. And because the size of the project, size and scope of the project is bigger than what Goodland has been involved with previously. I think this will help both the community, and I think the community would be greatly helped by the bakery and grain mill project. If we can find a way to assist so that the costs are reduced, we will get, whether it's, once they're in operation and their user, as far as from the bakery and grain mill itself, but also for the community as a whole. And the size of communities, that was also included in their typical other communities, which also helped as far as seeing that this isn't an outlier for what they normally do either. So that's what's presented, and we'll stand for questions.
Any questions for Kent?
So this, this is a grant writer, or like functioning as a grant writer is what they would be doing?
It is, but it's the, in addition to the grant writing, it's a lot of coordination and contacts involved with it, so.
Sure.
Just the 10,000 a month after the 90 days, if we continue is pricey.
It is.
I think we should, in my opinion, table this until we have the full commission here, and so we can talk about it then with everybody, and everybody has that decision to make. That's my opinion.
Is that, go ahead.
Is it $10,000 for the first 90 days, for each month?
Yeah, it would be $30,000 total.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this something we have in the budget? I saw where it would come from, but I'm just confirming.
It would be out of the reserves for the electric fund. And what the objective is that, to do this $6 to $7 million project to extend the electrical infrastructure and build a new substation out at the industrial park, that would end up coming from bond funds, and the electric fund would repay it. If we would end up with, we're spending this with the objective to be able to get some funds to reduce that amount that the electric fund would have to either borrow and end up paying back in order to get the project accomplished. So you're spending money in order to get additional money. That's the thought.
Takes a dollar to make a dollar. Kind of, in this sense.
Yes.
Do you know if they've had any success with this, getting federal funds with the current administration, like within this year? Because I know things are just a little different.
Yes, it has. I mean, they continue to, they did have a pause, but they have, but I don't have the exact ones. I can get that clarification
Okay, yeah.
for next meeting.
I think we can table it till the rest of us are here. I'm fine with that, just so that there's a full consensus.
If we have them on retainer, so we can go ahead and say we want to do a big water project to redo water lines, that's included in this.
Well, what
We could do.
they give
have to-
examples of
Right.
different things that you could
Right.
pursue, yes. The other thing that could come up is if we work out for a second entrance into the industrial park because of the truck traffic that would be involved. That's already been part of the discussion
Right.
with the people. That's another project that was given encouragement, they could see that being accomplished. That doesn't mean it's a guarantee or it will
Right.
happen, it's just, what's a possibility?
I guess I don't mind the 90 days, but I understand what you guys are saying about getting more of a consensus from the other two.
I mean, yeah, because in the long run, it'll be $120,000 for their year contract, so if we go ahead and, after the 90 days.
Yeah, there would be a separate decision at that time to go
Right.
forward, but,
Yeah, we get.
and there's no urgency right now. I mean, it isn't absolutely critical that it would be done at this meeting. Just wanted to put it in front of you and get some initial feedback.
Right.
If we have the funds in the budget, I don't see an issue with the initial 90 days part of this to see if we can get some help, because it's going to be a lot of work paying $6 to $7 million on this project. So any help we can get will be nice.
Yeah.
It's that after the 90 days that I'm like hesitant on, but that's what the 90-day cap is for, which
Well, and it is a big amount. It's a big amount for us, even for the 3 months.
yeah.
But what you're looking at is, that the college ended up, and the mayor would be more specific since he works at the college. But they ended up with right around $500,000 for the diesel technology building. And they've ended up with other funding in addition to that for the college, so.
Yeah.
But that's in the educational arena.
Yeah.
But they have worked with a number of communities.
Right.
So it is not, they have quite a bit of experience in obtaining grants for communities.
I would be comfortable making a decision today on the 90-day contract. But that's just me.
I mean, I think we should all do it, but that's my opinion, but it's whatever you guys want to do.
If it's not an urgency, it's not an urgency. We can wait. I'm
Right.
fine either way. I think I know my answer, but if we want to wait for the other two, that's fine as well.
I will make a motion to table the Merchant McIntyre proposal for federal funding action plan.
A motion by Commissioner Redland to table the merchant mercantile proposal for the federal funding plan. Do I have a second?
A second.
Have a second by Commissioner Archer. Roll, please, Mary.
Showalter, Redlin,
Yes.
Myers, Archer,
Yes.
Howard.
Yes. All right, moving on. Number 7, discussion items. There is none. Moving on to reports. City manager.
Included in your packet is the manager memo. There's also the police monthly activity report. There's also included the Nenaska Flats Solar Project report, just their, they have all the permits in place and they will start construction. So that was a project that we're participating in. I'm going to have a credit for our energy use. I'll go ahead since I'll ask Police Chief Earhart to step forward and talk just briefly regarding an ordinance that staff is looking to present to you at next meeting.
Evening.
Good evening.
I think it was last year at the end of Flatlanders, Justin Stacer came in and proposed an idea about the CMB sales in more of a larger area. like they do in towns like Hayes and things like that. I've been tasked to work on that, and I don't know if you all have any guidance. As of right now, he'll be asking for from 8th Street to 16th Street, which is the entire area of Flatlanders, for people to be able to drink and carry beer around. They'll obviously be identified through some sort of wristband. The A, that they're over 21, and B, that they purchase that alcohol from Justin. So you can't have two vendors sell alcohol and have them mixing in and out of this area. It's real weird. So, for instance, and this is a big hurdle, I don't know, if two people come and say, I want to do 8th and 16th, and I want to do the whole area, then basically we would have to either split that up, so you split it down the middle, and Tradition side can't go past this line, and their side can't go past his line. It's a weird, don't ask me, I have no idea. And you have to have cups that say the vendor's name. Now, if only one person does it, Traditions, then they don't have to have the cups. They have to have distinguished cups, like something that's a little bit different than maybe other vendors would sell, like I don't know. But there's also the aspect of signage. So at each roadblock, because we just use caution tape, right? Not roadblocks for every street.
We don't have enough.
Yeah.
Class 3
So
street.
at the caution tape, there would, he would be responsible, or whoever that person may be responsible for making signs that say no alcohol behind this point. I think me and Kent decided 4-inch lettering, big enough. And then we also discussed possibly it being in Spanish as well. So there's also some ordinances out there in other towns that require security at each exit and entry. That's a lot of people. And I can put that in there, but I can also put that can be waived by the commission, or something similar in language. But I just wanted feedback, or if you had any feedback of what direction you all, because I know that this was discussed in last year, so I am actively, it's going to be ready, hopefully it will be ready by next commission meeting for review. If you guys have any additional thoughts that you want directions going, or that you, and it's going to be called the community event permit is what, unless it's renamed, and that's kind of what I came up with. And this is just for community events, basically larger, that they want to do CMB or alcoholic beverages, which then you have to involve the state.
So this would be all specialized cups, no beer cans, nothing like that?
No, absolutely no glass. That'll be in the ordinance.
Right.
And yes, it would be some sort of plastic cup that's a distinguishable color, and they would have a bracelet on saying, A, I'm over 21, and B, I got this from Traditions. And then they have to actually label the cup if two people do this, and the commission says, well, okay, two of you did this, so we're going to split it down the middle. At that point, they would have to provide their security, making sure those people don't cross. I don't understand it. That's what ABC told me.
So, sorry.
Go ahead, you go ahead.
So this would, only one business would be able to get this permit?
No, so you can split it 5 ways if you want to, so.
But we'd have to split it.
You'd
on
have to
the-
split it, and then they have to get their personalized cups. So I
Almost
don't,
like their own like little beer gardens, but split across the street instead of like.
yeah, all the way down the street, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure it would be split by,
If the community would approve, if
Yeah.
we would
Yeah,
approve it.
if it went through.
All right.
yeah.
Who's responsible for, would you still be responsible for the policing of it?
That's the big issue. I mean, we can't stand it at every entrance. There's no way. We can allow, I mean, we can put in there that, in the signs that say no alcohol beyond this point. If we catch them, then there'll be a citation associated with that. So that's kind of the issue, is there's so many entrance and exit points. However, I did tell Justin, who asked about this, is that he would have to have 2 signs, one on each side of entrance and exits, not meaning on each side of the street, so it's clearly visible on a bright, metal sign or something that says no alcohol beyond this point. Other than that, you could, the commission could always condense that down to, no, we don't want it that big. You can have it from, 10th to 13th is where the food stuff is, or something like that. But if you get more than one applicant, then yeah, you're gonna have to either A, decide who gets what, because they're probably gonna both ask for that 8th to 16th. Or you're gonna have to split it, and they're gonna have to provide security, which if that's, I need to put that in the ordinance as well. Which is gonna have to be in there anyway, because I imagine there was 2 beer gardens last year? I think 2.
I think so.
Does anybody know?
Yes,
I think there was
heard
2.
two.
So, at the most, I've seen 2, I think. I think the year before that might have been 3, but. So then they're all gonna ask for it, so is it first come, first serve? Is it,
Yeah.
that's the big issue.
Yeah.
The only problem I see with trying to split it and having somebody there saying, you can't bring that cup over here, you gotta drink it here, somebody's gonna get probably upset. It might when they come down if they've had a couple.
Yeah, and so, yeah, I don't know how to solve that. The only way you solve that is if Traditions does it this year and you allow the whole thing, then somebody else has a chance at it next year, and then the next year, so on and so on and so on. And the other person might not even be interested. I don't know.
Right.
So almost like a first come, first serve, but then the next year, whoever had it this year doesn't get the first come unless
Nobody else.
no one else.
Yeah, but if you got 10 people, how are you gonna decide?
Yeah,
That's why you guys exist.
yeah.
No, I think my initial thought is it only works unless you have the security there, because that's going to be a lot on you guys. I'm not expecting you guys to.
Yeah, there's no way we can do that.
Yeah.
We're busy with monitoring Flatlanders, so, we can't. We'll help, for sure. If we see somebody walking through that way with a cup, then obviously we'll try to stop them before they get past that point, so we don't have that issue.
Right.
Have we had complaints from patrons at Flatlanders about the beer gardens being too small or not being able to roam freely?
I've had, yes.
Yeah.
That's been a thing since forever, since I've been here, that they wish they could walk around. And, yeah, in like Hayes, you can walk through to everywhere and bigger places like that. But, like I said, I can put in the ordinance for your review that they must provide security at each entry and exit.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then they may probably gonna have to make it smaller, because that's a lot of blocks to cover.
The biggest complaint that was heard after last year, or what Justin stated when he came and asked about it right after Flatlanders, was basically all the food vendors. That the beer vendor was over here and the food vendor was over here, and I couldn't make it to go to the food vendors, so that was the biggest concern. Now, when Chief Earhart was, saying the whole length of it, from 8th to 16th, obviously there's not food vendors along the whole length of it. But it gets very difficult and people would violate it. If you would have it only 10th to 12th or 10th to 13th, they would end up walking down through all the cars, because that's,
Yeah.
that's what you end up doing. So that's part of the, well, what do we craft to present to you?
Yeah, it's another
To have a
hiccup, because
discussion about.
they're gonna cross those lines.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna find them, and then there's gonna be a stink involved, and it's gonna be a whole thing, which is fine that's my job, that's fine. So, it's just, I don't know if we want the Flatlanders festival to turn into something that's negative. If there's gonna be a lot of people doing that, which they are, they're gonna pass that point with their beer. Of course, there'll be signs, no alcohol past this point, and we could make him provide security. But that doesn't mean they're not gonna get past them.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people, I mean, as you all know, there's,
Yeah.
I mean, if they make a line with signs, there's probably, 10 to 12 people walking through both ways at the same time.
Right.
So it's gonna be tough to monitor that. And that was where I asked Kent, can't we just make it the whole thing? Because it's probably gonna be that, I mean, it's gonna happen that way anyway, then we're gonna have to do, a lot of things, so. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I can, put the security in there if that's what you're concerned about. I don't know. And of course, it'll be required to have a detailed map and things like that, just like it is now for permits, for special permits. This is just gonna be a different ordinance for large-scale community events.
Right.
Yeah, I think if we're expanding this out of just the beer gardens, we might as well do the whole 8th to 16th, because that's kind of the point,
Well, and it's
otherwise-
up, so, I mean, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
up to the individual person applying for it to say, I mean, they can say, I want the entire town of Goodland. That doesn't mean, you know what I mean, they'd have to
Yeah.
provide a map and
Yeah.
all that stuff. But I'm not making, I guess my point is that I'm not making a specific one for Flatlanders. So it's just,
As far as the
Okay.
ordinance.
Yeah.
yes, I'm making a generalized community event permit. And they'll have to do all kinds of things, a map and all that other stuff, where they want to go. But then again, you have multiple vendors that want to do that. I mean, the food trucks are going to catch on to that the next year, for sure.
Yeah.
And, I mean, then where do we go? Like, how do you good people can have joy of that?
So is he wanting, I mean, I know where Justin Station brought it to our attention. Is it more because he's wanting to serve out of Traditions?
No, so wait. No, I don't think so. I think he's gonna be, I don't have an answer.
I think it was more that people were buying the beer there and they wanted to go walk out.
Well, it's beer garden on the, I think it was on 11th Street, or no, yeah, something like
Yeah,
that, 10th
clear on
Street.
the other
So,
And they wanted
yeah,
to meander.
they don't wanna be confined in that little area. And so that's where he came, because there is a lot of towns that allow that. I mean, he's right. So, now whether they have security everywhere, I would doubt that too, but I don't know. Maybe
I was
they
just
do.
trying to think, like, well, what if you just move the beer garden closer to the food, and then it's easier to police or whatever you want to do within that area? I don't know.
It was right by the food, but they can't go outside of that fence.
Okay,
So there's a fence, there's a barrier right there where they cannot leave with beer in their hand.
gotcha.
So this would create basically, they could go anywhere they wanted except for past all the yellow tape that the city puts down or the barricades.
Okay. I don't know, I'm not trying to be difficult, I'm just trying to understand.
No, it's a lot to, I mean, it's a lot to think about, there's a lot of steps to it, so, yeah. And this would just be unless they're asking for liquor, this would just be a commission approval, permit.
Right.
I think it makes sense what you're putting together, and I think putting the security as something that can be waived, I don't think it's a major issue until it is,
Well, and so, I guess, yeah, I mean, we try it, if it's approved by the commission and we have issues, then next year,
that's it, I
then
think.
you gotta have security, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
It's a
either.
starting point somewhere.
Yeah, and I think that's where, city manager kind of said, is that we just need something to start with and,
See how it works.
yes.
Right.
Yeah. Have we had any input from the SCCD, since they're the ones who put it on?
I am meeting with them, I have to get my calendar out, we have a meeting for Flatlanders coming up, and
Okay.
I can let you all know the next meeting.
Okay, yeah, because they might have a little more insight on
Then, and
the actual.
also, there's
business.
businesses too, so
Yeah.
if you're a business, we're gonna need to notify them, they either put signs on their no alcoholic beverages inside, or, because people are gonna be walking right into businesses, so, I mean, they're gonna be need notified that, if you don't want alcohol in your business, or if they have no food or drinks, I guess that's common sense, I never thought about that, so.
Also got churches that open up for like restrooms, things like that.
Yeah, and they would need to put no, if they don't want that in their
Yep.
church. And then, you also have on the temporary permits, Mary, what about within the church distance and school distance? I guess that would have to be waived?
You can't have it within 300 feet, but they can waive it. They waived the rec room.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking, though. For temporary permits, that applies as well. Okay, so that would have to be waived, too. And then central school, of course, that would have to be posted, no alcohol. I mean,
Right.
they can walk into central school with alcohol. So there's a church in central school, I think would be the only two that would be affected.
Mhm.
I can't remember what we did
Maybe
last
two
year for those
churches,
two.
he's got this one on the corner, it might.
For what's that?
For Justin last year, when he was on 12th Street, right, basically across from the church, and then
Which church? No, he was down.
he was down further?
I think he was on,
He was on 11th?
okay. Yeah, he was on 11th,
And it
so,
wasn't, didn't it,
That would be-
the
yeah,
building
that would
right there south of the bank, of the bank, or it used to be People's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they have hard liquor there that you could buy?
They did, at the,
Uh-huh.
that was like, that's where the SCCD building is.
I was just told that this year, and I didn't know that, and I don't know if they had their state of Kansas license. I don't think they did. I was just told that the other day.
It was like a food, it was a truck and they
It
were
was a red
doing
tr-
mixed
yep.
drinks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I forgot.
And that was
about
the second one, and I had no knowledge of that, so I don't think they had a state license.
Hmm.
And if Mary doesn't know that, then I'm guessing they didn't know. Yeah, it was a different vendor, and I don't know.
They had one where there was a wine vendor. Wasn't there one as a wine vendor at the craft fair?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just told that the other day, and I had no idea. So I'm guessing, I don't know. Maybe they don't know. I'm not saying they did anything malicious.
Right, yeah.
They may just not know.
Right.
So I'll bring that up to SCCD board to make sure that if they're gonna, they're there every year, I think. I've seen them for quite some time now. So, I'll just make sure that they reiterate they need to get a state license if they're gonna sell hard liquor. Because that has to go through ABC,
Right.
but. Anything else specific that,
I think we bring this forward in the next meeting and we talk about it and see how it goes this year. And we can always readjust next year if it doesn't go quite as how we want it to.
sure, and there'll be, the ordinance will be pretty lengthy, so.
Yeah.
But that's all I got. Did I miss anything? Okay.
You got a question?
I'll ask Street Superintendent Ken Keith to come up and get some information regarding the chip and seal project upcoming.
We did make contact with B&H Paving. They plan on being here July 31st and August 1st, which is Thursday, Friday next week. It's looking like, as far as the streets that we're going to be chip sealing, we're going to be doing 12th Street from Center clear out to Highway 24. We are going to do the entrance coming off of the highway.
27.
Off of 27, yep. And we're also doing 17th from Montana to Cattle Trail. We're also doing 16th from Maine down to Arcade. And Montana from 17th to 12th. We're also doing the alley of 1300 block Harrison back there behind it's basically from the college admin building to the cosmetology. We're going to hit that. The college has had some concerns about that alley, so we got it all patched up and we're going to put a chip on top of it, hold it up for them. Washington, 8th to 10th. And I guess it's going also from 10th clear to 1st on Washington. Eastridge, 8th to 10th. Eustis, 8th to 10th. And Arcade, 4th to 2nd. That should be all of them. We are going to throw a double chip on 12th Street right in front of West School. It's got a lot of stress cracking, and I've had some recommendations of putting a double chip over top of that one make it last a little longer, so that's what we're going to try for, so. But far as, the chip goes, I'm not sure what all streets we're gonna do on Thursday and what all Friday. So it's going, I gotta get with them, see how many tankers they're gonna do on Thursday, but we give the homeowners a letter night before, and it'll be in the newspaper for Thursday and Friday. Hopefully I can get in for Tuesday's paper, so. But, should go easy. The thing that is gonna be a little struggle is fog seal when it comes around that time. Hoping they'll have the construction of the overpass done by then, but it might not be. So
Probably not.
I did have 16th Street on the list all the way through, but I cut that back just because of that, because having 17th, 16th, and 12th all on there. It's not so much bad for the chip seal, because chip, once the rock's down, it's drivable. The fog seal is 2 to 4 hours set and wait, so I didn't want to congest it too much over in that corner of town, so.
That's good thinking.
Yes, so if, say, a road gets done on Friday, is it drivable by Saturday, or will it still be closed?
No, then once the rock's down, it's open.
done. Okay, cool.
It's just only when we come back to do the fog seal,
Okay.
which will be in September. I'm trying to work out with the school district, gave me some dates in September that there's no school, so I'm going to try and work that with the B&H paving to come back and try and get it done when there's no school. 12th Street's kind of a drop-off point, so. So, but other than that, I'll keep you updated when comes fog seal.
That's good. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We did get notice from the vendor regarding the pickleball resurfacing project, that they will have a crew here in mid-September to do that project. So, got to get clear to them within the next couple of weeks regarding the colors. That's going to be the hardest part, is have consensus on what colors it should be. But. And
Will the whole park be closed for that, or just around the pickleball area?
I don't think anything else needs to be closed besides the pickleball.
Okay.
Danny, do you remember any?
Just be the pickleball area? Okay, thank you.
And then how long will it be down for?
I think just a week.
Week?
Private.
Now, there's like 3 layers that occur, so they do it once and then they do it again and then they do it a third time. Because the first one is acid etching, and then there's a primer, and then there's the final color. And I don't think there's another layer besides that. But they can get that all done. Now, obviously, they need at least a day in between those two, but I think it was just a week. It might be a week and a half, but I think it's just a week. But want to let people know about that project as well, so. Did talk with a bond attorney, and as far as, just as was asked at the beginning of the meeting regarding the 8th Street project, we're gonna have to get a bond to be able to do that project, because we're gonna be paying it off with the revenue received from the sales tax over the next 20 years. But we want the project to occur sooner than 20 years from now. So that's what the bond is for. One part of me was asking, we could, and we thought it might be a good idea, especially with our upcoming project as far as the electrical project, and also there may be other things that come up, is whether a charter ordinance was his recommendation so that it wouldn't count against the debt limit, since it has a separate funding source from the sales tax. It wouldn't necessarily have to count against the debt limit. But a charter ordinance would need to be passed in order to do that. There's some more details regarding that, but rather than try to give that to you verbally and getting it mixed up, what would you think of that if that was presented to you at next meeting? Do you think staff should go ahead and have that at least available to present to you to discuss it?
I think that's appropriate.
Mhm.
Yep, and at least it keeps our debt ceiling free.
Right.
Yep.
If there's something else that requires.
Right.
Not saying that we'll automatically have something, but the state statute states that only 30% of your assessed valuation, that's the limit regarding debt. So our current valuation's at 43 million, so that means the debt limit is around 13 million, 14 million. We already have some debt because we have a water improvement project and we have a street bond that counts against our debt limit. Now, one of those gets paid off here, as you heard in the audit, within the next couple of years. But there will be some overlap between
Right.
these issues, so. Well, then staff will go ahead and tell them we'll at least have it presented, and we'll have the other details for you in the packet so you can take a look at it. The other thing that he had with that is with the charter ordinance, you can make it just about this project and do case by case as the projects go. That would be staff's recommendation, rather than a blanket requirement that it's okay to exempt this type of project. But that gets into some of the details. But I want to let you know that that's also part of the charter ordinance. And that's all I have from staff at this point.
Any questions for our city manager?
Nope.
All right, moving on to commissioners' report. I'll start over here on my left with Commissioner Redland.
Nothing to report.
Over to my right with Commissioner Archer.
I just wanted to give a reminder that the Carnegie Arts Center has their grand reopening this week. The ribbon cutting is Thursday at 5, and they've got an exhibit going right now of local art, and so art from people that live in Goodland and alumni, and it's really cool, all of the stuff they have up in there. So they'll be open all weekend through reunion. Come and stop by. And I also wanted to kind of give a thank you to the city crew, because the street crew, because I've been seeing the curb work that's been getting done, the painting and the replacing of curbs and stuff. So thanks for that.
Going on to the mayor's report. I don't have anything at this time, so we'll look for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Redland. Do I have a second? I'll second. Second by me. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.